2025 at 7 p.m. Sharon, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, board. When speaking, please move close to the microphone to ensure you are heard clearly for the YouTube streaming, and I request that citizens who speak to adjust the height and stand close to their microphone. There will be 2 opportunities for citizen comments. I will be requesting individuals stay within the 4 minutes in both citizen comment sections and would appreciate everyone keeping their points concise. We will be following the Township's policy 2.5E3 and 2.6C related to citizen comments. Individuals are not allowed to speak on a subject matter more than once. During the first citizen comment section, comments should be related to the items on the agenda only. The second citizen comment section shall relate to any other matters unrelated to the agenda items. Citizen comments should pertain to specific issues, concerns, or policies they would like to bring to the attention of the board. In addition, during board discussion and deliberation, citizens are not to interrupt the procedures of the board. The chair may call upon a citizen during either of these sections. I would request that comments are made respectfully to the board. We are here to discuss the board's business. To respect everyone's time, I strongly urge the board not to respond to public comments, but address them in the board comments section. I know sometimes this is difficult, but this is not a debating stage between the township's residents and board members. And with that, board, we'll move into the agenda. First item is...
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you pull it a little closer to you?
Let's see. They were messing around with the dials, and I forget which one mine is, so I'll try to be louder.
Okay.
We have one set of minutes for October 21st, 2025. Do we have any changes?
I have none.
All right. Hearing none. Yeah, your mic didn't sound very well.
Hello?
Yep. It's just, I'll have to work on it for next time. Since there are no changes, I will make the motion to approve the October 21st, 2025 regular board meeting minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
It is moved and seconded to approve the regular board meeting of October 21, 25 minutes. Any further discussion regarding the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So Mary, for the first time since you've been serving the board, I remember that you have correspondence and announcements next. Do you have anything?
You remember. No, I have nothing.
I always skip over
I got
that.
confused for a minute. I thought you meant you knew I had some.
No. All right, so I didn't forget this time.
Thank you.
Are there any
Oh, yeah.
changes? I'm sorry?
No, I'm sorry. She asked if I was eating my turkey. I said, oh, yeah.
Oh, jeez. I have any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, I have one.
You do?
In discussions with Sarah, I want to move the park and recreation plan to board discussion and not as item 6.
Perfect.
I believe this report needs additional work. The key concern is if we pass this now, the public hearing has to be within 30 days, and that is mid-December when many of our residents are gone. The rest of my issues can be covered in board discussion. If there are no other changes, then I will make the motion to accept the agenda as presented with changes.
I'll second that.
Thank you. It is moved and seconded that the agenda is accepted as presented with changes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All
Aye.
opposed? Motion passes. All right, Mary, first citizen comment section. Do we have anything?
I don't think anything related to,
Related to the agenda?
didn't I have another one? Didn't I get a
I
3?
think there's only,
Okay, sorry. No, I'm good.
you're good? All right. Moving on, consent agenda. Anybody wish to pull any of the reports? All right. Is it related to an agenda item or not?
She might need a public comment, but I don't know. I turned in late.
Park survey.
That would be
So,
for discussion. Yeah, if you want, we'll respect your time and let you speak during the first citizen comment section. Yep, you have your 4 minutes.
Okay. All right, my name is Lindsay Eccles. I have been here before, but not in a little while. Please speak into the microphone. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sorry. So my name is Lindsay Eccles. I'm the Parks Director for Antrim County. We have a park survey we're in the process of doing because we're going to update our Parks and Rec plan, which I know that you guys are also in the process of working on. And so I wanted to drop off. I have a flyer you can also put on your bulletin board or somewhere. I also have yard signs. I put them around in Bel Air. I don't know if you want one. I have extra. I can place one out here too.
We'll put it out on constant contact for our citizens.
I'm sorry?
We'll put your flyer out on constant contact.
Oh, okay. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
So about 475 people
Yeah,
will get it.
that's wonderful.
Okay.
The more people we get to take the survey, the better. It just helps direct the county on what direction to take our parks in, what is wanted, what people think we're doing well, what needs improvement, what we're lacking. So that would be really helpful. We also have new brochures that I wanted to drop off that encompass all of our parks in one handy little brochure. So that is really nice update. So I'll leave you with some of those. And then other than that, it is the end of the park season. The staff is gone for the year. The campground is closed up at Barnes Park. We had a great year. We didn't have any incidents to speak of. We did have the one project with the paving, the re-asphalting, and I don't know if any of you have been up there, but it turned out really nice. Team Elmers did it. They did a fantastic job. We've had a lot of comments. It's a huge improvement to the campground. So going forward, there isn't any major projects on the horizon for Barnes Park, but when something comes up, we'll definitely let you know. But right now, it's, we're just looking forward to next year, and then we have the Petoskey Stone Festival coming up this spring again, and that's about it. So do you guys have any questions for me?
Well, if you're going to expand it, remember our history.
I know, yes, I do. That's why I said that if we have any other projects coming up, I will be sure to let you know.
Excellent.
Yes,
Turn the
absolutely.
rain off for the festival.
What's that?
Turn the rain off the festival.
I'll try. I will work hard. I know. You guys still had a great turnout though, despite that last year, but yeah, it'd be so much nicer without the rain. So I'll just bring these up and drop them by Sharon, and then you guys can put them
Thank you.
out for the
All
public
right.
or for your staff and yourselves.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Alrighty.
you.
I was going to call you, see if you were coming, because I've seen you've been at all the other meetings.
I have been, yes.
Yeah, wonderful. You sit right over there and we'll make sure you get it.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you want to?
All right. Just come on, people. Okay. Yeah.
All right. What's that? Oh, sure. You didn't turn in a slip.
Sorry.
All right, come on up.
Some of you may be aware, and some may not be aware, but the Bel Air Fire Department Fire Chief Chuck Schumer passed away yesterday morning unexpectedly. And I was just say Chuck had attained 50 years of service to the Bel Air Fire Department, and 20 years of that service was as fire chief. And I'd just like to ask the residents of Torch Lake Township to remember his family in their thoughts and prayers this week during this difficult time. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Kevin. Hey, folks. All right, we'll move on then to consent agenda. Anybody wish to pull any reports?
I do not.
Hearing none, then all the reports are accepted by consent. Special reports. Andy is out of town. I attended the Planning Commission meeting last night. They reviewed the recreation and park document, and they will await our commentary based on what we do later on in the meeting. I did inform them that I was not going to bring it up for a vote, and that vote would take place sometime in May when more of our residents are in town. Mary, any new or old FOIA requests?
I had a FOIA request that went straight through to EMS and they took care of it and it's closed and I didn't have to do anything.
Wow, excellent.
I know, it was great.
All right, the financial overview, the general fund on a year-to-date basis was $70,000 favorable to the budget as revenues were higher by $57,000 and expenses were lower by $13,000. The expenses reflected 15 cost centers that were under budget for $58,000 and 6 cost centers were over budget for $45,000, which nets you out to $13,000. Details can be found online in the special report for financial section, line item details file. The fire fund was still negative due to the unbudgeted down payment for the new fire pumper truck and some of the capital improvement work that we did at the 2 fire stations. The ambulance was unfavorable due to the budgeting revenue before December of $56,000. That will be taken care of in the month of December and January. In lower run fees of $19,000. Expenses were essentially flat to budget. The road fund work is complete and all items have been billed. We came in $64,000 under our budget for the road work. I'm waiting to work with the road commission to get our next year's estimate. Bert's supposed to get something back to me at some point here in the near future. Again, any questions on the finance report can either be sent to me or to the clerk's office. That concludes my report. Board, we have no old business, so we will move into new business. First item is the Central Lakes Public Schools tax collection. Sharon, I will let you lead that discussion.
Thank you. You have in front of you Central Lake Public Schools agreement for the 2026 summer school property tax collection. I do not have Elk Rapids yet. They're working on it, and I was hoping to get them done and both passed tonight, but we're going to go ahead with Central Lakes. We've had it in hand for almost 2 months here now. So with that said, the summer school tax agreements must be agreed upon prior to January 1st, thus continuing the same collection per parcel as in the past 15 plus years as your contract you have in front of you. So with that, if there's, I will make a motion to accept the agreement for collection of the 2026 summer school property taxes with Central Lake Public Schools as presented.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mary. It has been moved and seconded to accept the agreement for collection of the 2026 summer school property taxes of $2.50 per parcel with Central Lake Public Schools. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, Mary, would you conduct a roll call vote, please?
Bob?
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Mary, yes.
All right, thank you, board. Second item on the agenda is to review the bids that we received for the gutters. That will encompass our building here. If you'll remember, we had some torrential rain this year and we had some flooding. So the problem is, especially in the back, the landscaping kind of leans towards the building and the water was coming straight down. So with that, we decided we should pursue some gutters. There are two bids. The first one is from Rainbow Seamless Systems. Now, I sent everybody a video as to what the system is that they have. It's a helmet type system that allows the water come in. It's heated so that it melts the ice, and it melts the ice up the roof line for a distance of probably 6 to 10 inches. And from what I can see, I like it. The second one is from Michigan. I'll pull it up real quickly.
Michigan gutters.
Michigan Gutters. Their cost is significantly less. I had a personal experience with them, which was very good. Their gutter system, however, does not employ the helmet process. Their system runs the cable through the bottom of the gutter. And it heats the gutter, and it does not get much heat above the gutter line for the roof. So from a personal standpoint, I think the helmet probably provides a better service for what we have here at the township. But I open up to the board for your opinions on this.
Well, this says the electrical tie-in is not included. So they're not doing their electrical work either.
Neither one of them, and that's
This one
number three.
doesn't, this one,
They're not. Let me look.
I mean, are you sure about that? Because it's,
Do
I
they
mean,
have it in
they've
there?
got the breaker in here, the control box. I mean,
Well,
they've
the
got, the-
breaker and the control box, but it's the wiring from the panel
Right.
to the breakers in the control box.
I didn't see that.
Yet normally, the gutter guys will tee it up with all the equipment, and that happened when we did our house, that the gutter guys put the cable in, ran it down, and the electrician then.
It says electrical tie is not included in this time
Yeah, I
here.
didn't
It's
think it
on
was.
this page here.
That's Michigan gutters. I'm talking about the other one.
Oh.
That's what I said.
Oh.
In Michigan gutters, it says that, but on Rainbow, it doesn't. And they've got all these other things on here. And I didn't see that it didn't say that that was a part of it. So I assumed that was why the big difference in cost.
I think the cost difference is the big helmet process.
The helmet that I was hoping they would drop off a unit. The helmet is excellently constructed and a lot sturdier, if you will, than just having the line in the gutter.
There's a video.
I watched it.
Did you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw on Michigan gutters, it says that it's not, the electrician is not
Yeah, it
included.
does. Rainbow. It's quote does not include the cost of electrical hookup. These guys, most of these guys never do it.
Okay. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
I trust you.
Yeah, they claim. It does say
Oh,
that.
there it is. Okay. All right. So the major difference here is
It's
the,
the helmet.
is, okay.
Did you guys watch the video?
I did.
Okay, so you know where the element is and it sets up.
Yep.
If I had it to do over again, I would probably use.
This is
them, but Michigan
this
gutters
is a
did great
huge
job.
roof line that comes down, and just seeing the water damage, even the water damage across the front of the building, these windows and all around. It should have been something done when the building was built.
Sure.
But it wasn't. So now we're paying the price of upgrading that should have been done originally, like a lot of things.
So board, do you have any other questions? I can try to answer. I'm a finance guy, not a gutter guy.
Well, I was impressed with that helmet situation, that, for this building, for the years of longevity for this thing to work. And the years that this building's going to be around.
All right, well, then I'll hear a motion on this.
I'll make a motion to go with Rainbow. Motion to approve the purchase of heated gutters from Rainbow Seamless Systems for installation in 2025.
For the price of,
The price of, stay with me.
I can help you,
I've lost-
$26,000.
Thank you.
105.37.
And again, this is going to be installed before the winter comes.
Yep.
Well,
I will tell you, these guys do it in any weather because last year, my gutters went up in a 2-day snowstorm and those guys worked the whole time, as did the electricians. So they'll get it up. All right, board, I will second that motion. Motion to approve the purchase of heated gutters from Rainbow Seamless Systems for the price of $26,105.37. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Well,
Aye.
I'll tell you what, let's do a roll call vote.
Okay.
for 26.
Yeah.
Sharon,
yes,
Jason,
Yes.
Mary, yes. Bob,
Yes.
Andy absent.
I know. Well, nor do we want the water in the back there with our ambulance crew. 'Cause they had water.
or seeping through the
Yeah,
floors of the offices.
all that water came in
Yeah.
a week after our brand new carpet came in.
So I know sidewalks are cracking out here.
It's terrible.
Okay,
All right, next item, which is basically in conjunction with this.
I see that's 100% guarantee. This is for the life of this product then,
Product,
correct?
yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's guaranteed and they get 90 days to fix the problem. If they can't fix it, they get a full refund.
Wow.
Not a bad deal. All right, the next item is the associated electrical work. Art has done a lot of work for the township. As far as I'm concerned, they have performed tremendously in the work that we've had them do. They've done work on the building here. When I had Rob out here, he went through all the boxes to figure out the appropriate place to wire the stuff in. So I would like to make the motion to approve Art Electric for the wiring of electric gutter heaters for the price of $5,748 to be completed in 2025. Any discussion on the motion?
This has got to be done before the gutters come in, obviously, right?
No,
No?
no. Normally they'll come in and get it set up in the panels. And then once the boxes go in, wherever the guys put it, that's when they go out and wire the boxes.
Okay.
Any other questions on the motion? If not, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve Arndt Electric for the wiring of electric gutter heaters for the price of $5,748 to be completed in 2025. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Too many papers. Next item, the sheriff was, I think, the sheriff was going to come to support item number 4. I received a communication from the sheriff's department indicating that the state of Michigan Transportation Department requires that the contractor indemnify the state from the work performed in installing the flock camera system. The township is required to pass a resolution that that the state prepared. You have that in front of you. In your package, there's an email copied from the flock representative that in fact they do indemnify the state. I've had Todd review the document and he's comfortable with the wording associated with it. And so I asked them to send me a copy of another township. Mansalona was the one they sent me. It's basically just fill in the blanks and pass the motion. I'll have a further comment on flock in board comment section. Just remind me. Any questions related to this? If not, I will make the motion to approve Resolution 2025-8, Performance Resolution for Municipalities in the Michigan Department of Transportation related to flock indemnification for camera installation. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Right. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, then it has been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2025-8, Performance Resolution for Municipalities in the Michigan Department of Transportation related to flock installation, indemnification for camera installation. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
If there is any further discussion, if not, Mary, a roll call vote, please.
Jason?
Yes.
Mary? Yes. Bob?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
All right. Kevin, would you like to introduce your candidate, please?
Yeah, recently, the fire department was approached by a young man named Austin Meyer. He expressed a desire and an interest to serve on the fire department, and I met him last Wednesday evening, and he had his application all filled out and passed it to me. He lives within the township. He is 31 years old, married, has 2 children. I think we need to give him a chance and invite more young people into the fire department. This was a direct result of the open house. We met him and his wife and children during that time frame. So I'm asking the board to hire him as a probationary firefighter at Torch Lake Township, and we'll see how it goes from there. I appreciate it.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Any questions for Kevin?
He goes through probationary and then he goes to a class for firefighter 1, 2 then. Is that how that works?
Correct. That was explained to him, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
He
that's,
does understand that.
yeah,
then.
that probationary period gives anybody the time to feel if this is adequate and that's they want to pursue it. And if they do, we'll get
So
them
he
registered.
can come to meetings and
Yeah, for school.
figure,
Yeah.
okay.
The only thing I forgot to mention, he develops websites for corporations and individuals. I can't remember the company he worked for, so
He works at a home?
he works at home, so he will be available.
That's excellent.
That's a plus.
Yeah, big plus. Get him trained, will you
We
please?
need all the IT we can get around here.
Hopefully he likes it.
Don't say that too loud. All right,
And then I'll make the motion. Oh,
sure.
then I'll make the motion to approve the hiring of Austin Meyer, as firefighter probationary for Torch Lake Township Fire Department, effective November 19th at the current salary rate of $16.05, and that's on the schedule.
I'll second.
Thank you. Boy, you were fast.
Bye.
The motion has been made and seconded to hire Austin Meyer, right? As firefighter probationary for Torch Lake Township Fire Department, effective October 19th, 2025, at the rate of $16.05. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Perry, a roll call vote, please.
Jason,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes?
Sharon,
Yes,
Mary, yes.
and you'll get him the paperwork, Kevin? More than this, the packet. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. You told me just to limit it to that and then,
Okay, right. Oh, you got the packet already, okay. Thank you.
yep. All right, moving on. Item number 6 was removed and it moves down into board discussion. That completes our new business. Now, has everybody been through the report that the planning commission put together?
Yes.
Mhm.
All right. Again, as mentioned earlier, the reason I moved it to board discussion is there's a lot of material in here. As you go through the report, I would say that it wasn't a finished product for the board to review. There's quite a few typos and some misstatements. And if we were to take action, the public hearing was going to take place at a time that we're short about 40% of our residents, 40 or 50%. So I think that the planning commission understood my position last night, and they're going to continue to work on cleaning up the report. But I thought we could go through, and if we have comments related to what was presented, then we can put that together and give that feedback back to the planning commission. So it's kind of a little bit of a working session. Do you have any comments?
I'm just listening.
I open
I'd
it
rather
up.
have a full board here to passing something like this too, that.
Well, and Andy would be,
And especially with a representative
right.
to be on this, so it's,
No, I don't think there was any problems. If there was a concern, it's a concern that, and it's part of my commentary, is that they were concerned that we would not be able to apply for a grant for the TART trail without having this park and recreation plan in place. It's a requirement for those grants. However, I'm not getting pushed by the TART people to move forward quickly on worrying about the grants. There are some other issues that the township will have to address in the future associated with it. I mean, at this point, I'm not sure if they even know which side of the road it's going to go through Torch Lake Township. So I do not see an urgency in getting a report that's required much before the springtime anyway. So I think we can take our time, go through it, and provide the planning commission our feedback. So with that, I mean, Sharon, do you want to start? I know you.
Well, yes. Let me just point out a couple errors before I'm not going to do grammatical type of things right now,
Right.
but when I compared our plan from our prior plan, existing plan that we have now compared to what is going here, there's a lot in this one here. So with that being said, if we were to, the pages are numbered at the bottom.
Yep.
And just flipping through real quickly, page 22, about the middle of your packet, that was glaring to me. And it's public facilities owned by Torch Lake Township section. There's a box there. That was taken right out of this book, per se, practically. But if you scroll down to the bottom there, Torch Lake property, that 2.3 acres, that state of Michigan, that was sold several years ago.
Is that
So,
the end of McLaughlin?
yeah. So take that, that's
Yeah.
got to be taken right out of there.
I wondered about that.
So we can't say that this Torch Lake 2.3 acres of 200 feet on frontages belongs to Torch Lake
Well,
Township.
it says not owned.
Not owned, but it shouldn't be in there because
But we
it's
don't-
privately
right,
owned.
because it's
So
private at this
that needs to come out right off the bat. Um, There's some typos along the way, but I'm not going to hit on any of those types of things.
Yep.
Even towards the back on page 33, action plan. There's a tables there. The one, two, underneath the road ends, it says identify road ends by creating a map for the public. Well, in this packet, there are no maps anywhere.
Right.
The old one has great maps. And if you were to look at our existing one now, it has all the maps of the existing road ends. That's all in this one here. So this plan doesn't have any great maps. The maps that we have in the existing one, I think should be put into this one because they're very useful. Right off the bat, this map here, this map here.
We can provide those to Sarah.
Okay,
All
yep.
right.
And then there's a few other things in here. There was, I'm flipping around on pages here. Wasn't sure how we were going to handle this. I didn't highlight every single detail, but there's a section in here. I don't even know if I've got it highlighted that I can find quickly. Maybe I didn't highlight it, but I know it's in here.
What's it about?
It was a community profile. It was, there was a lot of questions. Some of these questions, I kind of questioned myself as to who took these surveys because it wasn't all of Torch Lake Township residents that did this survey. The survey came from a lot of people outside of the township, outside of the state, families, friends. So I didn't know how it impacted these questions, but like on page 17, there's a picture of a dog. Volunteers. The second paragraph to the right. It says trails and bike infrastructure, ongoing coordination with the Antrim County, local conservancies. And then it's got the Upper Torch Lake Association. That needs to be scratched off of there. They do not participate and have for many, many years on any township volunteering programs at all anymore. the old program had them in here a lot because they did a lot way back then, but they don't do anything anymore. I don't even know if they even got money in their coffers anymore. So I'm not sure where that all went, but that's beside the point. And then I look at some wording in here. So when I look at 25, there's areas in here that are just 26, page 26, first paragraph, are sufficient in concerns about attracting more tourists and spending tax dollars on public. These are comments. This is what their analysis was. Lastly, there's notable interest in specific improvements, and it goes on with the trails. There's just a lot of analysis in here that I kind of question some of these things.
Well, on that, I've got that one as one. You have to go back to the bottom page of 25,
Right, yeah,
where they said, hey, we're providing extra space for you to put in some comments. But they're basically saying that they like the natural, quiet character and limited additional recreational development. So it seems like we've got part of the population, because it doesn't say how many people put comments in here like
Right,
this
right.
versus the survey. And basically, some people are concerned that they don't want to spend tax dollars on this
Right.
stuff, and how are you going to do some of this? And we don't know how many people said that. It could be one person. So that, I had that as an area that we ought to ask them for further details on.
I'd ask for some details on quite a bit of things in here, but those are just a few
All right?
observations but still, some of the old plan or current plan that we have, I don't want to say old because it's current, needs to come in out of here and put into here. And some of this needs to be tightened up a little
That's
bit.
fine. That
mean,
should be communicated
commu-
with
the-
Sarah.
The survey and the population and it's like, the population's older population, and yet they want skateboarding and all kinds of other things that, like, wow.
All right. Mary,
Hmm.
take your observations next.
Well, I didn't know I was supposed to come with a list of observations. I thought we were just talking about the overall.
Just give me what you got.
Give you what I got. Well, I did notice there was a lot of this that went here. So that kind of feels like it's a little bit of a copy over. I do have concerns about the survey, because if Sharon's right, then why were people taking our survey that weren't from Torchlight Township?
Because they were invited to do so, from what I understand.
Well, give them the story you have.
Well, I know that they had a meeting that I appeared to one of them, and one of our planning commission members invited everybody to take part. And there was people from all over the county and people outside of the county and outside of the state, and family and friends, and they were all encouraged, and they were taking in the survey that we had that they were passing out. So I just wonder how many,
Mhm.
and even some Elk Rapids people came up to me after the meeting and said, oh, well, we want to do a survey. We want this and we want that. It's like, so I didn't know where the lines were drawn on the survey, how they were conducted. I always had a concern with that, because there are a lot of outside comments that could be made that maybe doesn't fit the narrative of some of them within the township itself. So I don't know. I never got a direct answer how that survey turned
Right,
out.
I
and
remember
how it-
that.
Yeah.
Which is concerning, because obviously you want the people of Torchlight Township, not the people that don't live here. And this was what, like a third of the township's numbers?
Yep,
So it's kind of a small representation of,
correct.
so
Yeah.
that's concerning. But it didn't really look much different to me than this one. I mean, there was even a sentence in here that was the same about the pickleball courts and the tennis courts as being something that people really wanted.
Right.
And so, I don't know, I guess I don't really understand the purpose of what the purpose is that the survey was serving exactly.
Well, I think the survey was trying to get input from the community as to what they would like to see that a recreational or park program in Torch Lake Township would look like. There's a recognition that we have two, I don't mean not to talk to you.
I'm so here sleeping.
I mean, they understand we've got the park and the nature preserve. I've got a whole bunch of stuff that once we're done, get to my
Was
comments.
that survey more geared for this, or was it more geared for the master plan type of, or a master plan down the road?
Well, I think it's specific to a recreational and park plan so that supports what we go after in grants.
Okay,
So if you want to go after a grant that supports
right,
recreation and parks, then you better have this plan
Right.
so that the people that are allocating understand what it is you're doing for the township.
right. But I didn't know if that survey was geared strictly for this only, or if it was geared portionally for the master plan to be updated. So, but that's okay. That's,
Yeah, I think it's probably all encompassing, which is
Right.
not bad. I mean, it does give us a lot of input as to what some people are thinking. I think one of the interesting things was that only 18% of the people that did the census are under 55 in our township, which tells you something about what we have. Jason, you have thoughts?
I mean, I just felt like maybe the survey didn't target the right people because of what you just said, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody's 55 or older. I would like to know what the younger people are thinking, what their vision is of the township and the Parks and Rec. But I also agree, and Mary was watching the meeting last night and kind of heard a little bit of what Rita was saying and whatnot. But I kind of agree that, I do agree that we need to wait for more of our residents to be here and not
Right.
kind of push this through in the middle of winter.
Right. Yeah, I was pretty adamant, we're not going to do that. It's not fair. All right, well, I'll walk you through my comments then. On page 20, fortunately, they did a lot of paging for us. It talks about universal scoring, universal design, and then on the next page after that, if you look, we do pretty well as far as the scoring goes. If we look at the items, for instance, we have the concrete boat launch there off of Northwest Torch Lake Drive, which has a concrete base, but there's absolutely no space for parking. So it's really not something that's usable, and I don't think it should be included in the study. But it is there. I think in the past, some of the locals used to go down and launch their kayaks or canoes there, but it's got to be locals because there's just no parking. You can get one car down there. Then on page 21, I'm not quite sure why they scored this thing. Tolerance for error on our day park. I don't understand that. I mean, we have spent a lot of money to improve that. We've got the fences up, we've done landscaping, we've done the sprinkler system so that we don't have brown grass in the summer.
Wait,
I'm surprised. 5 says tolerance for error.
I don't think that you're reading that right. I think, isn't it over here? The entire park was developed, renovated using the principles. Isn't this what we're looking at for 5? That's how I read it.
I was looking here at the principal
Well,
5.
I see what
Right,
you're looking
yeah.
at, but I guess when I read it, that's what I was looking at, was over here.
All right,
Because it, using the principles of universal design, which it pretty much does.
so does that mean our score is 1 through 7?
1 through 5.
Well, no,
I
I
think-
know, but if we meet the universal design, what part of the universal design? Because there's 7 principles for it. So that's a good point. I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at the principles of the universal. So maybe they don't answer that there.
That should make you
Yeah.
happy, huh?
Huh?
You thought they were giving us
Oh,
an E,
yeah,
and they gave
I
us an
thought
A.
That's fine then. But I would like to know.
I was gonna take offense to that.
So that's a good question then to follow up with them on. Well, that's why we go through this, because everybody's going to see something different. All right, my next one. Let's see.
East Horse Lake Drive.
So the road ends on page 20, let's see, 2. They talk about road ends, I think. I think Sharon got the one that wasn't there, and we're not anywhere near the trailway at this point, so done with that. Let's see. They had road ends as access points. The question there is the fact that we don't own the road ends. The road ends still belong to the county. All they did was give us jurisdiction over them so that we could institute how often people could do it, open hours, no fireworks, no fire pits or things of that sort. And over the period of time, they weren't being used. There's no parking associated with the vast majority of those. So I'm not sure I count road ends as an access point. And I wouldn't include all of those to indicate we have all these access points. Now, during the course of
Located.
during the course of the conversations at the open house, I had a couple of people ask me why we don't clear those things. Now, if you remember, about 1.5 years ago, we engaged the surveyor to survey the things so that we have them. But I said, it's really the neighborhoods, the people in that specific neighborhood that don't have to park their car, because there's absolutely no parking unless you're going to park on people's front lawns. If the people want access, then why doesn't the neighborhood come together and put together a workforce? The township can support that in a way, but otherwise, I don't see it as a responsibility of the township, and I've been arguing that, to try to clear that out. And again, we don't own the property. There's, just so you know, I've had discussions on giving it back to the county. And if it goes back to the county, my understanding is that the county is going to say, okay, we don't want it. And because it's access to the water, then the DNR or EGA, one of the two, then become owners of the property, because they have rights to access to the lakes, to the water. So at this point, I think the road ends should not be a big factor in this report. Let's see. Page,
And the,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, the very next page after that you're looking at on 24 leads to your points. The question is, are you a seasonal or a year-round resident? And the survey reveals that a mixed community, so it's like a 2-to-1 ratio. So our people are not here all through the winter, so passing this or getting it done is not involving very many of less than half of our residents. That was that question on 24 there.
I had my comment on page 25 and 26, which is, people like the quiet of the area and whatever. And so if we're going to undertake this massive recreational plan where we're going to go out and try to buy property and put in trails and things of that sort, I don't think the plan ever considered what the property costs are in this township for us to have to go out and look for property to fulfill some of these suggestions. Let's go to page 32. So we have objectives, goals and objectives. And one of them was to create a better communication program. Well, we have constant contact, and we have our
Videos.
well, we have the videos. The meetings go out. There's transparency, and we have a website. So I don't understand why they're saying we need to do a better job of communications. They don't talk about funding, and in this report, it states that people do not want to spend additional money on a recreational plan. So I looked through the different things. Provide indoor, outdoor recreational opportunities, including non-motorized options. They want to develop a trail system. So where are they going to do this? I mean, people have a butt up to the street, so it's not like, they talk about sidewalks in here. Where are you going to put sidewalks? I mean, the county owns the roads, the township doesn't own the roads. And so there's the easement part of that. So anyway, that just doesn't make sense to me. The next one, hiking trails for spring, summer, and fall. They want snowshoeing, cross-country skiing. Now, in that particular instance, the question would be, do we contact the farmers and ask them if we could use their fields? If they'd be willing to do that, or if they opened them up for hiking through orchards and whatever, if people are interested in that. I don't know what their feelings would be. The golf course, I mean, when I spent time in Vermont, the golf courses all offered cross-country skiing and snowshoeing.
Barnes Park.
Barnes Park, oh, she's gone, but Barnes Park.
It's a county facility, but
Yeah. We could utilize that for cross-country skiing and snowshoeing. So there's a possibility there. I see an opportunity to discuss it with areas without us having to go out and buy property to put that stuff in. The trail, Tart Trail, they keep throwing that out there. It's going to be a bike trail, and people are going to be able to use it for walking. So at this point, if you go off the main highway, we don't have room for sidewalks and stuff. People walk in the roads. We don't have a lot of traffic. So I'm not sure why that seems to be a big concern, that we have to come up with some kind of a solution for this. I'd like to know where the activity centers are, the next bullet. I mean, M88 would be about the only place that I could see where a walking path or a sidewalk, but the problem is it's a state highway, and you're going to run into easement problems. And so therefore, how are you going to put this stuff in there unless you go into people's front lawns? I don't see a solution there. But I know, and Denise is a good participant on the planning commission, but she looks at M88 as dangerous for walkers because people are flying down there off that hill at 55, 60 miles an hour until they hit the 45. So I understand, and I mean, we've got that problem on Northwest Torch Lake Drive. I mean, I talked to Bert about what it would take if we wanted to put a 8-foot wide strip when we have to fix that highway. And he said it's going to be 7 figures, but he doesn't know how many of those 7 figures. But he said it's going to be over $1 million to try to do that section of road with all the work that you would have to do to get that in there. The township can't do that, and the county's not going to do it. So
It's the same as walking from the Barnes Park through the summer, when a lot of them walk through 31 to the grocery store, or, along that stretch, you see them walking too. And there's not a lot of
right.
space.
All right, going to the other side. Maintain and improve parks and recreational facilities and identify opportunities for new spaces. So, this one, it's like, where have people been for the work that we've done on the day park? We have a conservancy easement. Everybody on this board has been copied with my emails that have been back and forth with a couple of members of the Nature Committee. And we'll undertake some of that stuff. Bert Thompson, I talked to Bert, they're going to take the extra concrete barriers, but we're leaving 2 up. And we're leaving 2, and we're going to put a heavy-duty chain between the 2, because that's for the fire department to put that boat in there. And we're not changing that, and we're done worrying about, as you know, with the hammerhead, that in fact that's going to stay in place, and we're going to keep it maintained for the fire department. So we've taken care of that. There's not a lot we can do. There's trails throughout the nature preserve. In the past, the fire department has helped clear the trails, and along with citizens that lived in the area. Well, those citizens are in the group that's above 55. And so the Nature Preserve Committee needs to undertake, if they want, and I think they need to, is to establish some volunteer programs to work both the beach, police the beach, and then have crews to take care of the paths. If not, then it's going to be the township, because we do need to keep those paths. We have the obligation under the agreement, the Conservancy agreement, to keep that stuff in place. And if the current generation of people don't want to do that, it's going to fall on the township. So we'll just have to face into that as it comes up. Identify new spaces for recreational opportunities. Again, that's wonderful, but where are we going to get the money to buy an acre? How much would a wooded acre cost in Torch Lake Township? flatlands that people can walk,
I don't know,
couple of 100,000,
for an acre?
yeah,
That much.
all right.
Well, what you're saying, like what you've been reading here, I mean, everything here, it makes it sound like we live just outside a big city or something. I mean.
Yeah, like where's this?
Routes between activity centers? I mean, we're in Torch Lake Township.
What sort of indoor recreational opportunities can we provide here?
When you read into the details, it's the pickleball courts, indoor and outdoor pickleball court. I
Well,
mean,
they also want venues of concert type of things too. I don't know, yet they want a peaceful residential area.
Right,
So
quiet.
I don't know where the balance is on some of these
well, here,
concerns and questions.
let's see, I'm trying, you were on the board when I brought forward the, yeah, remember, what was her name? She was on the day park committee, and she was willing to head up not a recreational, but a program, summer program for the day park. Set up different activities and bring in different things. And it was probably second year of last term. And Alan was here and he didn't like the idea, and the board ultimately said no to it. But I'm happy to revisit that and bring somebody in that if they want to try to come up with activities down at the day park. I mean, if you think about Central Lake, they have that little, the bathrooms there, and it's kind of has a little pavilion, and they've got activities going on Thursday nights. And they have their 5K race and that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not sure we can do races, but I guess we could try to find enough roads to do that.
Yeah, I'd say that.
The races are during their festivals, like 4th of July and those
Right.
type of events. We don't have those types of events here.
But the question,
That day park is so busy,
So busy.
congested. I'm like, you're gonna have nowhere to park for these activities.
well, you'd have to do non-holiday activities.
No, even in the middle of the week in the summer, it's packed. I mean, it's packed.
This
Well,
It's crawling with people.
parking on the grass and
then that, I think the planning commission needs to understand that in fact, I suspect the members of the planning commission don't spend much
I
time.
was just gonna say,
Down
I
there
bet you
at
none of them even
at the
been down
park.
there in the summertime.
And so, they don't understand that. Now, if we have some quiet times, fine, but in reality, that park is fully utilized unless it rains.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Right?
I'm blown
Sun
away
up
all
to
the time at how
sundown.
busy it is down there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I guess my feeling is that,
You know, Barnes Park is what, 164 acres? I mean, there's plenty more room to put more trails through that place. And
Well-
that's already non-motorized. I mean,
yep.
how many more non-motorized trails do we need in this township?
Well,
We only got 400 people voting or doing the
Yeah.
survey.
Maybe.
well, we do have obligations to take care of the places. So we have to do that. But beyond that, I just don't see the opportunities without cooperation from something like the golf course to offer cross-country skiing, or they have their cart paths and stuff. Why can't they set up hiking trails in there? I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
But-
I used to do all that cross-country skiing and everything at Camp Payawenta. For years and years, they had it out there. You remember the days that they had
Yep.
all of that?
They don't do that anymore there, right?
They don't.
No.
So,
Disc golf, if you can get to it.
I'm sorry?
Disc golf, if
Oh, yeah,
it's open all year round.
that's a thing in the chains.
Yeah. But we got Antrim Dell there too, even though it's not our township, but they offer snowshoeing there, maybe.
So I guess my feeling is that they need to go back and rework some of these things. There's too much pie in the sky. Hey, we're dreaming about this stuff now. That's great. So now let's bring it down to the next level and say, okay, how are you going to execute some of this stuff?
Well, and I'll be honest, I felt like when I took the survey, I felt like some of the questions were not really relevant to our area. I mean, like some of the things even that are in here that, they're asked, for example, what kind of sporting events, they've got soccer, softball, baseball. I mean, what does that have to do with, like, we don't have any softball fields here in our township or anything like that. So I just felt like some of the things they were asking weren't relevant to, so I'm not sure what the purpose I'd like to see some more specific questions to the things that have actually happened here. I mean, I know it's a little late now that they've done the survey, but nobody asked me ahead of time, Bob.
Well, it falls upon the planning commission. And clearly I haven't been to a lot of their meetings, so I didn't think through all this stuff. In the past, I think it's been thrown out there, the same stuff. Sharon, I would assume a lot of it is very similar to what was done before, copy and paste, instead of taking it and saying, the community's different than it was 20 years ago. So let's sit down and figure out what do we need to look at. Pickleball is a new
It's huge.
sport, but we'd have to go out and find property and provide parking. And we own one little piece of property over there on 3rd Street, but you're not going to put a pickleball court inside of that little lot. So, and I'm sure the neighbors wouldn't be real happy about that. So I think,
Couple 100,000 an acre, you said?
yeah,
Babe, we got 3 acres.
I mean, if someone came to us and said, hey, I want to buy a piece of property and I want it to be commercial so that I can build a big pickleball empire, I mean, I don't see how it falls on us.
well,
It's
that's,
pretty big though in Kuwait, and you've seen it.
No, I know, but I mean,
There's
you can go to
50, 60
Acme
people
and,
down there, and
Oh, yeah.
they're waiting
Yeah.
in line, and they bring their own chairs, and it's becoming pretty big.
well,
that's true.
I've got,
Ellsworth has theirs too. Central Lake.
Central Lakes got them.
but they had the property there.
Right.
That they could use, and they utilize existing property. Now, we can go out and buy a lot of property and go in debt or have to pass a bond issue. We could go out and say, hey, let's vote on a $5 million recreation park program, and this is what we're going to do. We'll take this program and we'll find ourselves 15 acres and off we go. I don't think we're going to
The only thing I could see bringing a pickleball court is taking that basketball court and turn it into something like a pickleball. I don't
Right.
even know if that could even work.
At the day park?
Well, first of all,
Yeah,
you're going
I
to,
don't even know if that could work or
it's
not.
probably double the size of that basketball. So you're going to take away.
That's why I say I don't even know if it could work. I don't know.
Well,
And then add
But
another
you're missing-
60 people
Yeah,
in the
you-
parking lot waiting to play.
Exactly. No, I don't think that would work.
a lot of people play the basketball, and a lot of times I drove by and saw the volleyball court filled
Yeah.
during the summer months. So if you were to take it, I mean, you'd have to remove the pavilion up by the parking lot.
Yeah.
And-
No,
And
you
basically
would.
level an area out there large enough, and you're going to take away those grounds for people to have picnics. And that's really what the day park was supposed to be.
Right.
Well, it comes back to my comment a long time ago when we were talking pickleball courts when it was brought up to us. I can visualize it somewhere in Barnes Park.
Yeah. I was just going to
And
say,
and I've said that many times. They have the property, they have the space.
right where they
why
did the
don't
Eagle
we-
release.
Yeah. I think it's something we could propose to them. I don't know.
Well, they have all that, they have that timberland.
They had
and
that.
They were
wi-
going to expand the number of sites until they ran into a buzzsaw. But, that's,
I wonder if it's in a survey.
Well, Where they did the eagle release, I mean, that used to be the old ball diamond. Now it's,
Yeah.
they don't even mow it anymore. It's
Mm-mm.
all tall grass.
So anyway, all right. I think I'll have a session with Sarah, take our comments back. I think the best comment was maybe this survey didn't really crystallize what our community is, and we threw all this stuff out there and everybody's got a little here and there, and we really don't have a clear direction on what they want to do. My feeling is the nature preserve needs to come up with a plan to build a core of volunteers. If people really are that impressed with natural and keeping things in order, they ought to be willing to volunteer one day a week or some for an hour. And so those committees need to find that out. I think the day park committee does a pretty good job with running the park, and the people we have, God bless them, because I think we'd have a hard time finding replacements. And they're happy to be there. I mean, a couple of them just run down and check on the park. They don't charge us for their time, ride their bikes down, see what's going on, and leave if there's nothing going on. So, all right, with that, I think we beat it. We have our second citizen comment.
Let's bring up Wendy McWhorter.
Hello. I just want to say to the Planning Commission, which only Jason is here, that I appreciated listening to my concerns when I was here to talk about Torch Bay Nature Preserve and the need for garbage receptacles, because like I said, I go there every day, I walk my dog, and I pick up all kinds of trash. And I really believe that if we had some trash receptacles in the parking lot and down at the beach, people would be more inclined to throw away their things. It's just, if it's there, they'll probably do it, hopefully. My only, I want to make a comment about on page, I think it's 33. When I looked at this, it said action type and then time frame. About Torch Bay Nature Preserve. I don't see the need to spend a whole year to review amenities provided in the nature preserve. I would like to see in 2026 that we do have trash receptacles there at the beach this next year. 2026, not 2027, 2028. I mean, that's a line item to purchase the trash receptacles and pay somebody to empty them out. And I'm all for talking to the committee about Torch Bay Nature Preserve, about going, and cleaning up. But I think we need the trash receptacles there in 2026, and maintenance to take care of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we ordered. We also.
All right, it just, on here it said 20, so I just wanted to clarify that. But I
Yeah.
appreciate you all listening to me, and
You were on the email stream.
yes,
And- and
yes, yes.
I wrote to everybody that in fact we had ordered those. We also found a cigarette butt container
Oh, great.
that we will put there.
Okay,
We will not remove 2 of those barriers,
Yeah.
but the other ones, the county's going to take those.
Isn't our cleaning, the cleaning gal gonna?
Yeah, the
Okay,
cleaning
great.
crew, I think I
Good.
told you guys, they were going to stop there and do that every day. We'll have to put that in their contract.
okay.
So I think from that point on, I'd look to people like yourself and the Nature Preserve to come up with an action plan with volunteers on the
Mhm.
trails.
I agree. Yeah.
And the signage, I mean, we have always supported the Nature Preserve when they wanted signs and different posts and whatever, but it's been the volunteers in the past that did that work.
Mhm.
And I'm in the same frame of mind as I was before, we'll do that stuff.
Okay. It just, when I saw this 2027, 28, I thought, oh, what does that mean? Okay.
Well,
Thank
that's-
you.
That's their stuff.
Okay,
It
great.
means they weren't,
Well, it's gotten less, thank goodness, because it's cold and people aren't going there.
Right.
all right.
Jairus Rubing.
Good evening, everyone. Sheriff had kind of a busy month in this area last month. 10 car deer accidents in Torch Lake, 10 in Central Lake Township, and 10 in Banks Township, so that's one every day. And that doesn't even count the ones, I figure about 50% of them get reported, so the rest of them, they just take pictures and call the insurance company. So anyway, you kind of hit on it a little bit. Sharon talked about it, the parks and survey. I took it, and it's primarily focused around the parks that Antrim County has. Because, to be totally honest, we've got all we can do to manage the ones we have. We don't have money to add new great things in reality. We've got a lot of parks, so, and they're all listed in the survey. And it is very specific in the survey of where do you live? Are you an Antrim County resident? Are you an Antrim County year-round resident? Are you someone who's here for a summertime resident? And those are questions in the survey, so they're very specific on that, so that, we get that information when we put the survey out.
Does our Parks and Rec, do they take care of glacial hills?
Yep. Yep, and they have, volunteers that help, but yeah, yep. And the Elk Rapids Day Park, and yeah, there's a lot of parks in Antrim County. Mormon.
Barnes is the largest
Yes.
one.
And then the Antrim Creek Natural Area, I mean, if people want, there's 160 acres there. If they want to snowshoe and cross-country ski, it's not very far from here, really. We have a lot of folks that do that during the winter. I'm on that committee, so I go to the meetings.
I was just going to say, I think you're on that committee.
Yep. And the bad news about that is we received preliminary information that was positive for the hemlock woolly adelgid at the ACNA. So we're looking into that more, and if we have it, we'll have to try treating. So
We had that issue at the nature preserve. And I think they got the treatment done this fall, if I remember.
yeah, they've been working on it.
Yep.
And then I'm on the mental health board, and they fund Grand Traverse Industries, which is over by Mansalona, helps folks with special needs, and just trying to help them get their funding, because the mental health board has been a little reluctant to do that recently. So I've been working on that, talked to John Roth about that, and looks like things are going to be pretty good. If anybody wants to go, their all-day Christmas party is December 11th. So
Yeah. Ann Steiner's
yeah.
big-
Yeah, she comes to commissioner meetings quite
Yeah.
often, so yeah.
I saw her at the last one.
Yeah. Other than that, I think I'm good.
Where's she at? She home for good night?
Yeah, she did. She talked about coming, and then she's like, I want to eat.
All right.
That's awesome. I went by the park the other day, the kids were all sledding down the hill, and we had snow. I thought, it must be recess time.
I wonder if there could be a committee, form a committee or some type of thing to, instead of the county paying for a pickleball court, you have the space somewhere in there, I'm sure, but maybe forming some kind of committee to put one together, donations or volunteers or some committee to raise
Generate
money to
revenue.
do that instead of put it on the county, but the county saying, yeah, if you can put this together, we'll give you this space here or whatever. That could be something we could look at too.
Central Lake, they put theirs in, and they did some sort of a partnership. The committee raised so much, and then they helped them out at the end or something. I don't remember the details, but Rob Tyler could get it. For you.
Where's Central Lakes pickleball courts?
I've never been there, but it's in the village.
It's in the village?
And Ellsworth is near the,
I think,
it's right there by the, what is that tank
Yeah.
down there? It's used to be a basketball or
The Vietnam Memorial.
yeah, the Vietnam Memorial area.
Oh, yeah.
It used to
That
be
was-
a tennis, but they kind of formed it into, made it
They
smaller.
they remarked it.
Yeah.
I think Central Lakes is by the school, not too
I
far
think
from
you're
it.
right. Yeah. Like basketball court, yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
My first question.
Any other,
Build their own.
Yeah,
you could do that.
they'd be sure to give it to us.
3 acres? No, I'm just saying, you've got 3 acres, you could. All right,
I'll be in tomorrow.
Quitting our day jobs.
I'll be in tomorrow.
well, you just can't quit the clerk's job. All right.
It's a good day
Board
job.
comments, Sharon?
Yes, I have one quick comment here. The winter tax bills will be sent out from my printers and they'll be printed, they'll be out in the mail on November 26th, because I've already getting phone calls as to where they're at. So they'll be out in the mail on November 26th. If you have any changes of address or concerns, please let me know. Please contact me. And then lastly, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone, wherever you may be.
Yep,
When's
that's
the
right.
due date on the winter taxes?
The winter taxes are extended because it falls on a weekend and then the Monday falls on a holiday. So it moves it back to the 17th of February.
Sweet.
Heck, yeah.
All right, Mary, any?
We had our, my second election this month. It was a success, and I couldn't have done it without all of my election inspectors and my behind the scenes helpers and my chair. And yeah, so it was
Excellent.
good.
Good. Jason?
I have nothing other than I ate that whole damn turkey.
And again, even though we
We're
had
not sharing
had a
everybody
long
theirs.
discussion, I want to thank the planning commission because they did do a lot of work. And there's work to be done, and I think they're going to be helpful with it. So I'm going to try to get some time and figure that out and come back with another plan for us to look at. So with that,
Wait,
wait.
you told me to remind you, Bob had further comment on flock.
Oh. Anybody see the recent news on flock in the state of Washington?
Oh dear.
No.
Well, there's a lawsuit, and Washington has fairly liberal rules around what information the government has out there that is considered public. So it's in the courts, and the first court said that any video or documents associated with a flock camera can be FOIA, basically requested as public information. So that's going to be interesting to see how that flows through the court system, to see if in fact that particular type of information can be designated as public information, as opposed to being used exclusively for the law enforcement. So that is, now, I don't know if our sheriff would have a problem with that. I mean, based on the fact that we've said that the only purpose of doing this is to catch the bad guys, I guess, to sum it up quickly. So I'm not sure what other information they could get except license plates numbers. And then is there a way that they can go back and find out who those people are? And, but you could do that in a parking lot. So I don't know what the ramifications are going to be, but it's in the courts. So it's something that the sheriff might want to monitor. Now with that, I'll make the motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say
8:30.
aye.
8:30. Aye,
Aye.
right on the dot, 8:30.